Hey there, I'm John Cox with Board Game Geek, and today I'm here with Pat Marino and your game Mourners Call, right?
Yeah, so this is Court of the Dead, Mourners Call.
Mm-hmm.
It's set in the Court of the Dead universe, which is an original IP from Sideshow Collectibles. Fans might know Sideshow for their super premium collectible figures, Star Wars, Marvel characters. If you've ever seen an amazing character you really wanted in your living room that was super expensive, it was probably a Sideshow figure.
Okay.
So they've created this original universe and given us the opportunity to play in the game space with the characters they've created. So you're going to see a lot of this premium art, premium 3D figures. So
yeah.
we've got those right here. This is a miniatures, dudes on a mat style game.
Yeah.
And so altogether there are 50 miniatures that come in the game. We've got 6 smaller sculpts. You'll get 8 of each of those, and then the 2 larger premium figures you see there. So, and these are just our 3D print prototypes. So
oh, great! This
you can
is
see,
all prototype.
Yeah,
okay.
But this is final art and everything that we're able to show here, so we're really excited about really how beautiful this game is, thanks to the team over at Sideshow.
Great, so what are we doing?
Yeah, so we are in the underworld where we're in between our world and heaven and hell. And heaven and hell are locked in this endless war. They've gone past the point of being good and evil, and they're just in this war, and they use our soul energy to fuel their war. So Death's job is to harvest that energy and fuel it to them.
Okay.
He's decided that's not really what he wants to be doing, so instead he starts building forces in secret in the underworld to eventually overthrow heaven and hell. And so that's where we come in as players, as recently deceased individuals. We are mourners in the underworld, and we're executing our influence over the 3 factions of bone, flesh, and spirit in an attempt to help the underworld achieve its goal, while also standing out and earning ourselves sort of a place in Death's Court of the Dead.
Okay.
And so it is a competitive game, but there are elements that will force players to be a little bit cooperative to prevent some outside effects like heaven and hell becoming aware of the fact that we're building this war against them,
sure.
Which will have penalties, or there's a sort of a disease called the dread script that if we amass too much power, it can start to corrupt figures within the game, and so we have to be aware of these external threats and manage them, but really we're working towards our selfish means too, so there's this push and pull. All of that's done mechanically through some area control. We've got a card drafting mechanic here, so I'll show some of these large court cards.
Mm-hmm.
These are some action cards we have, and you'll see each one has sort of 2 choices. So when players draft these into their hand, sort of 7 Wonders style, they then have the opportunity to decide which of the 2 actions to use when they play the card.
Okay. Do you draft a hand of cards and then start evaluating them, or do you use them as soon as you take them?
You draft first, so it's very much like you would see in a lot of drafting games where you get a hand, you keep one, pass the rest to your neighbor, and you build your hand before you go into the action phase, and
okay.
then have a chance to sort of activate those cards on your turn.
Okay. And when it comes to like these big minis and whatnot, are they like, are some of these non-player characters, are they all like, when you as the players, do you have specific factions among them?
Yeah, so in the beginning of the game, you'll declare for one faction based on some hidden objective cards. So each player will get one of these hidden objectives from each faction.
Mm-hmm.
They'll choose which of those they want to play and put it sort of face down, and then declare to the other players what faction they're playing as, but not what their objective is. So you might declare that I'm playing Spirit faction. And fans can go on the Sideshow website for Court of the Dead or on our website and link to a quiz that's been around for a while that'll help you decide like what faction you fit best with personality-wise. But you can play any faction and have different strategies and approaches to the game. And once you play, you can recruit from all the factions.
Okay.
So you sort of have a specialization, but an opportunity to diversify your strategy.
I understand. I'm curious what's going on with those boards over there.
Yeah, so each player has a player board here, which we can show. And the scoring in this game comes from several places, one being unity tokens. So as you contribute to sort of the greater good, those types of actions earn you unity, which are 1-to-1 points. On your player board, you have a space to put newly recruited figures. So if I was to gain this figure, I would put my ring base on it, similar to other miniatures games, and add it to my crypt.
Okay.
And then eventually move it into a location in the city for some area control mechanics. Etheria is this great gem resource we have over here. This represents the soul energy that we use to recruit more figures and take actions, and a place to keep your unity and sort of declare there's a bone faction token to show that I'm bone.
Okay.
And then most importantly up here we have the influence tracks. So this shows how much influence you have over each of the 3 factions.
Mm-hmm.
But your influence, in addition to scoring points based on this range up here, is also a resource you'll spend throughout the game. So you have this balance between using that influence to complete actions but not wanting to spend all of your points as the game progresses. So you have to kind of balance those two elements.
Okay, so how does the game end?
Yeah, so the game will end when we collectively have prepared the underworld for war, and that's represented by the unity tokens running out. So you'll start with a certain number of those on the board.
A bunch of them over here? Yeah.
Based on the player count. When those run out, we'll play the last round, finish out all the phases, and then score up points again by where your tokens are on this track, by how many unity points you have, and then by how many points you scored on your personal hidden objective.
All right. So when can people see this for real? Like, when's it coming out?
Yeah, so this is going to hit Kickstarter late April, and it'll be available there. Obviously, as Kickstarters go, miniatures game, you're going to hopefully see some really exciting stretch goals and some add-ons that we're going to put out. But we wanted to do Kickstarter to really make this a super premium game with this kind of artwork. We wanted to make sure the components and stuff really fit that. So we're excited to bring it to Kickstarter, and then hopefully delivery for that Kickstarter towards the end of the year.
Sounds good. Can I see the cover over there?
Yeah, let's show off this. This is an original oil painting that was done for the box art specifically, showing off a lot of the characters that you'll see in the graphic novels for Court of the Dead, and really some of the key players that will be important in some of the novels and things coming out later.
Great. All right, well, thanks a lot, Pat.
Yeah, thank you.